everyone, and welcome to another Hatch live stream. Slightly late start, but we're here and ready to go. Hopefully your weather is better than Sydney. Sydney is in a downpour right now, so hopefully yours is much nicer than ours. And a big shout out and hello to Terry from the Netherlands, who is our first person in the chat this morning. So thanks so much for coming through, Terry. It's always lovely to see where everyone is coming from all across the world, ready to come and chat all things embroidery. So that's a great start for today. I wanted to start off today seeing how everyone's been enjoying Stitch Fest. So Stitch Fest is our month-long celebration of all things embroidery, digitizing, and we've had so much fun bringing it to you, and there is so much more to come. But I hope you've been enjoying the free downloads, things like these lives. We've got some more to tell you about, so make sure you hang around to the end because I've got some great fun things that are coming up. So there's lots of things like that happening, but I hope you've been really enjoying it, and I hope you've been buying while the savings are big. So we've got some more people coming through on the chat. Hi everyone, you're all coming through. I can see we've got some people from New York. Is that St. Kitts? Oh my gosh, you're our first person from St. Kitts. Hello. It always looks so beautiful on the TV whenever I see it. I'm always like, what a great place. So thank you all so much for coming. And I can see we've got some people in from Victoria as well. That's Victoria, Australia. So thanks so much for coming through. As you keep coming, just let me know where you are from because it's just really fun to see how big the embroidery world is for us all. But as I was saying, Stitch Fest is on, and it is one of the best times if you are looking to upgrade or go to Hatch Digitizer because the savings are massive. These are our big sale days, so make sure that you take advantage of it because we want you to get access to this wonderful program. And don't forget, when you buy Digitizer, you get the full access to the Hatch Academy, which is the best embroidery education in the world for the home and hobbyists and people doing home business things, because nowhere else is there something so comprehensive that is built exactly for your product. So people are quite often on our chat in our Facebook group and they'll be like, oh, so like, where do I go to learn? And everyone's like, have you checked out the Academy? And people forget that it is there. So make sure you take advantage of that and know that when you're buying Hatch, you also get access to all of that. So lots of that's coming in. Sorry, I'm getting the giggles because I can actually see some of our office co-workers have jumped in. So hi, Brendan, how are you? Thanks so much for joining in. So lots of great things happening with Stitch Fest. Be sure to head across to this Hatch website, click on the Stitch Fest links. And what you'll see with the links, there are the links for all of the things that are on sale, and it's not just for new buyers. There are some things for people who want to do upgrades and extras and things like that as well. So do check out that. But there's also the events page. So the events page is all of the good things that we have ready for you. You can also scroll back and see any of the past events. And even things that are listed as lives, if you connect through, you can watch the replay. You won't be able to join in the chat, but you can watch the replay, which means you still get all of that really great information. So be sure to do that. Today, I wanted to talk to you about things for home business. So we get a lot of Hatches, or a lot of people potentially thinking about Hatch, or just be really intrigued by embroidery, and they're like, I don't know about machines. What do I do? How do I do things? So we're talking today about things that you can do with a 10 by 10 hoop. In America, you would know this as a 4x4 hoop. So I brought my fun little magnetic one from home to show you what a one on a domestic single needle machine looks like. This is actually my fancy magnetic one, but any regular 10 by 10 will do. So before I launch into 10 things you can make money off using Hatch with your home business, I wanted to talk a little bit about machines. So 10 by 10 machines, so machines that only take a 10 by 10 hoop, are quite often the cheaper or less expensive machines because you only get that one option. The general consensus amongst most people is buy the biggest machine hoops that you can buy and then just buy your designs, which is fine if all you want to do is some fun things for the grandkids or some fun things for your friends. Fine, 100% okay. But if you want to maybe look at doing embroidery and digitizing to earn money in your home business, and you've only got a set budget. What I'm going to propose is something radical because you're going to grow out of your machine. No matter what, you're going to grow out of it. You're going to start with a single needle, and then you're going to want one of these guys, and then you're going to want a bigger one and a bigger one. So no matter what happens, you're going to want the bigger machine. That's guaranteed. But if at the beginning you'll look at your budget and you're like, bigger machine, bigger machine. Do I buy a machine and a hatch? What do I do? What do I do? How about you spend slightly less money on your machine, still buy a decent machine, don't buy anything that's like terrible. So buy a machine from a reputable dealer or like get a good bargain, and then invest in yourself. And by investing in yourself, I want you to get Hatch. And the reason I want you to get Hatch is for the 10 things I'm going to come up with, and I could have done more than 10, but you know, sometimes I have to stop talking. So what I want you to do is invest in yourself, because if you have that digitizing knowledge, doesn't matter what machine you have, you can go ahead and do so much more with that information. So with that in mind, we're going to launch into some things that you can do with keeping in mind that you might be looking to do something as a home business. So you want to actually make some money from your embroidery. And it is a learning curve. That's fine. You're going to learn all that. The academy is going to be right there holding your hand, getting you through all of that. But start with a smaller machine, slightly smaller budget, spend your money on Hatch, invest in yourself, invest in that knowledge that you're going to keep growing and growing. And then as you make money and as you grow, get a bigger machine, because you're going to want a bigger machine anyway. All right, so let's jump into it. Okay, first things first, we have a home business hub for Hatch. So the home business hub, which the team will be dropping in some links for you, one of the things that is there, it has a free ebook. That ebook is going to take you through some of the basics and sometimes a little bit more involved of things that you can do to set up a home embroidery business. Now, to start your home embroidery business, you don't need multiple machines. You don't even need multi-needles. You can start with a single needle machine. And then we're going to launch into things you can do with Hatch, starting with monograms. Monograms are wonderful because they are infinitely saleable to so many people. Need your initials on that. Do this, do that. I'm going to show you here in Hatch what I'm actually doing. So I'm actually choosing out my colors of what I'm actually going to do my embroidery onto. So I'm choosing out my base colors. Knowing how to do this is also a great way to send it out to clients so that they can see what it looks like. Here I've opened up the Monograms tab on Hatch, and check out this array. You don't even have to do anything. You just have to type in some initials, which you'll see me do in just a moment. But all of these are built into Hatch. So there's no having to buy 30 different monograms. You get Hatch, these are all inbuilt. Once they're inbuilt, you can actually modify them, change them, add that element, change that element. There's so many things you can do. You can change out the lettering. Here I've added in some extra initials. You can change your fonts, and you can just keep playing, as it were, to make it as individual and as unique as you need. And then we're going to put monograms on things like tote bags, towels, pillowcases. There's so many different ways we can do it. You can even do like the really traditional left chest embroidery for a business shirt. So there's lots of ways you can use a monogram in a fresh and modern and interesting way. But with Hatch, look how easy it is. You just type in some letters. Like, this is as easy as adding in some letters on an Instagram post. Like, it is just that easy. You're pulling it through. All of these you can then check, make sure that it can stitch out on your 10 by 10 hoop, and off you go. KDCs are the Keyboard Design Collection. They're inbuilt into Hatch, and there's also some extra ones that you can buy as well. And there's a whole bunch of different ways you can use it. Left chest embroideries, front chest embroideries, lots of things where you can personalize things up with people's names. They make really great baby gifts as well. Here you can actually see one stitching out, and this is stitching out on my actual 10 by 10 hoop on my home machine. So when I bought my machine, I had a set budget and I had a set space, and everyone was like, buy the bigger hoop, buy the bigger hoop. And I'm like, I can't fit it. I can't afford it. This is what I've got. And I can do so much with it because I don't let the limitations of a size go with it. I'm like, I can do this. So The reason I can do that with such confidence is because I also bought Hatch. Yes, did I start out without Hatch and then be like, okay, I want more flexibility in my designs. I'm going to do different things. Got Hatch, never looked back. In fact, I now work for the company. So, that's a bonus. So what we're going to do is you can see here that with a single needle, yes, you are changing out your colors one by one. As you're starting out, particularly if you are brand new to machine embroidery and you are brand new to sewing machines, that having to rethread every single time is the best way to learn how to continually rethread your machine and check and make sure it is stitching out correctly. So I never see that as a bad thing. Sometimes it's a little tedious, but it also means that I know I'm getting it correct each time and I'm practicing. The other thing is, if you've never hooped up, hooping up a big hoop, not the easiest sometimes. Hooping up a little 10 by 10 hoop, nice and easy. So you can actually practice all of the elements of embroidery and keep going and learning through all of these things. So don't let the 10 by 10 ideal limit you. And again, for anyone who's jumped in, when I say a 10 by 10 hoop, if you're in America, actually mean 4 by 4. So I'm sorry, I am definitely a metric person and sometimes I do forget about inches. So I do apologize, but 10 by 10 hoop does mean that. So those are our first two things. So we're talking about monograms and KDCs, and you can see how easy that they are for Hatch users to just jump right in and start stitching those out. So if you are looking to start a machine embroidery business, one thing you have to really get used to is the idea that when it's on screen is not the finished. The finished is the stitch out. So the finished is the stitch out. We want to check and make sure that stitch quality is correct. Doesn't matter how beautiful it looks on screen. If it doesn't work in the fabric and in the actual stitches, back to the drawing board, back into Hatch, check it all out again. So with a little hoop, you also can do this faster. You can keep going back and forward. All right, so let's look at some more ways we can earn some money with our home business and Hatch. Keychains and charms are certainly having a moment at the moment. You see so many of them hanging off different kids' backpacks. We are near a university here. There are tons. Here we've mixed KDCs with keychains, so that's a great one. And I always feel like patches go in along with this. And with the patches, these are some ones we recently shared on our Embroidery Studio social media that have all come from the recent Star Wars celebration in Japan. So what these are is you can see the level of creativity that these people have come with, blending Japan and Star Wars and all different things with it. All of these can be done on a 10 by 10 hoop. I actually really like doing my patches on a 10 by 10 because it gives me a nice amount of stability and I don't end up with any flex with them. So it actually makes it really easy to go through. So with keychains and patches, there's a whole bunch of different things. One of the things we did with Stitch Fest is yesterday on the needle bar, Justin and Joe did a really great live stream. I just forgot my words for a moment. I'm so sorry. They did a really great live stream that talked you through all of the different ways to do patches. They did do it in Embroidery Studio, so they did it in the professional commercial level of Wilcoms products, but lots of that information that they talked to you about spacing and layering and how it all works together, completely relevant for Hatch. So if you are super keen to do patches, be sure to go and check that out on the Stitch Fest list and take advantage of that expert level of information that is available to you there, because it was fantastic to actually listen to. They gave you lots of great hints and tips. So go check that out. But they did have all their big, they're like us, they get to play with some big machines, but totally doable on a single needle machine as well. So lots more things happening in the chat, and I can see people jumping in saying hi to various things. Hi, Kim, I can see your name popping up. And what we'll see is throughout the chat, you'll actually see links that the team is dropping in for you. So be sure to follow those links. If you're watching on YouTube and you want to go back like straight after this and check out those, sometimes on YouTube it takes like an hour to 2 hours for everything to actually refresh. We can't do anything about that. That's a YouTube specific thing. So if you missed a link and you want to come back, give a little break and then come on back and it'll all be ready for you. All right, some other ways we can look at using Hatch to earn money with our home business. Logos. Logos are fantastic because you can approach any of your local business and guaranteed as soon as you get an embroidery machine, all your mates are going to come up and be like, so I've got this business idea. Good thing is as you grow, you can then go back to the same people and be like, want the same design but bigger? So with Hatch, you can save the design as an EMB file. So you, for those of you who are brand new, what you'll find is your working file inside Hatch is known as an EMB. That file is basically infinitely amount of fixable, editable moves in many different ways. So you save your working file as an EMB. Once you're finished with that file or you want to do a stitch test out, you will then export it as your actual design type. So you're going to export it, so say it's like a brother like this, you're going to export it as a .pes or a .pes. What you can do is, say you want to go back to that same company that you did the left chest logos and now you want to do a nice big back of a hoodie or a tote bag or something else, you can actually go back and literally a few clicks, bigger size, when you've got your bigger machine, you're ready to stitch out. So I find that super useful because if you're starting out and you're having to pay a digitizer to do that work for you, if you do a small logo, you're going to have to go back to them and ask for a bigger logo, or you're going to have to pay more money to start up. You can't even stitch that big one out yet because you don't have those capabilities yet. So think about it as an investment now because it means you can do more things later as well. So that's definitely one to think about as you grow with different things. All right, what else have we got to have a look at today? Towels are a wonderful one, and people often say you can't do towels with a 10 by 10, and you can. One thing you can do is what I'm doing here and add down the lay down stitch. A lay down stitch will go down behind the back of the logo. So I'm using the same monogram I used from earlier, and I am just adjusting the thread color so that it matches the thread color of the actual towel, in this case that I was stitching. And now you can see it's got that fuzzy effect and you can see the stitch out. What that lay down stitch does is it actually smashes down some of those threads of the towel ready for you to stitch out. Then you can keep doing lots of other different types of tea towels, bath towels, all kinds of things. I love a towel, I really do. It's such a fantastic way when I'm traveling to pick up a really good souvenir. So I see often people will be like, oh, I go to my local farmers markets. It's really known for having great potatoes. You totally make a potato tea towel and I'm there because that's the kind of thing you want. You don't want too much stuff that's generic because you can buy like, you know, those kind of things at the homeware stores. But with Hatch, you can actually, your town's known for its potatoes. Maybe it's known for how great its meat is. Maybe it's got a really great festival of some kinds. Now you can combine up your logos. You can add in some of the towel things. So you can add stuff like the lay down stitch. And already you can see how your skills using Hatch are layering up to allow you to have more ways to earn money with your home business. Because as anyone who has started a small business knows, you have to have many different ways of earning money at the beginning, because you might find some things you love, some things you hate, and some things earn you money. So you need to look at this kind of critically and figure out how that actually works for you. Lettering is a fantastic one for this, and Hatch is known for its lettering. One thing you can do is you can actually get the free Hatch fonts book. What the fonts book does is, as you can see on the moving part of the screen here, is that it can actually show you all of the fonts which are included with inside of Hatch, or if they are ones that you can purchase in the font packs, which happen to be on sale during Stitch Fest, you can actually build up all of these fonts, and these are professional level styles of fonts. You can do things like this lovely little bride tote bag. You can add some icons to it and do some front chest logo things, particularly for kids and babies, because those sizes fit so well into that 10 by 10 hoop. So what you can get with the quality of those Hatch letterings is if you get the Hatch font book, it actually tells you what they're sized out for. So it will say 6 mil to 25 mil or 10 mil to 50 mil. As long as you stay inside those parameters that the book gives you, they're also in the drop-down menu on inside Hatch as well, you get beautiful lettering. Sometimes you need to change that. So if you are working on some different fabrics or some like super stretchy fabrics or things like that, you need to then think about backings and other things like that as well. But you know that the base lettering is done beautifully because it is professionally digitized. So definitely think about Hatch if you are thinking about doing lots of things with lettering. And honestly, there is so many things you can do with lettering, including lots of personalization and things as well. You can bring your sketches to life. Lots of people I know are avid drawers and it's all stuck in notebooks or on their iPads. Let's start bringing in those designs. Last week in the Mother's Day design, we showed you how to do a cute little sketch and bring it through. Here's one I did, which I actually used through the cross stitch gem on Hatch as well. And bringing all of those designs, whether you're doing your own designs, such as the donuts, whether you're drawing your friends' pets, bringing in different things, you can apply those to a whole bunch of different products. And that makes it really great. Lots of people I know have really beautiful ones which are embroidered of their pets, or they have like a baby's a baby's handprint or footprint directly from the hospital, so you can remember how tiny they were. Little things like that are wonderful keepsakes and people love to purchase them, particularly in something like embroidery, which is tactile and has that lovely stitched in quality because it becomes a keepsake for the family. So that's one of the things you can add to your repertoire. If you're a really great sketch artist, there's so much you can do with Hatch because you can make all of those sketches that you are doing textural, and that textural element, once you've learned to digitize, is such a really beautiful thing. And it also means that suddenly you've got the ability to put it on a t-shirt, to put it on a hoodie, to make garments out of it, to make homewares out of it. So definitely bring your sketches to life with Hatch. All right. Color photo stitch is one of those things that I really love. We quite often show it using animals. This one was shared in our Facebook user group, and I actually love what Barbara has done here. So a member of her family is a photographer, and what they have done is they have used color photo stitch to turn those photos into a lovely set of coasters for the family to enjoy. I love that usage of someone's photos and turning color photo stitch into something different, because quite often we see it used for baby portraits, pet portraits, family portraits, and it looks great. But this is something new where it's taking someone's photographs and pushing that artwork form another way. When I saw Barbara's work pop up in the Facebook group, and hello Barbara, I hope you are watching. I dropped you a little note last night to say I'm going to put it in the live. They're wonderful. They're so beautiful, and it's such a great use of the color photo stitch. So the color photo stitch is built directly into Hatch. You can import your photo, apply the parameters of the color photo stitch, super easy, click, and off you go. So it's yet another way that you can do things with it. All right. And the last one is you can sell your designs. Once you get confident in your usage of Hatch and of digitizing, you can actually sell your digitized designs. So naturally, we always tell people don't sell designs of anything copyrighted. So don't be trying to copy, your favorite characters from a TV show or something like that. Fan art is fine, but we don't want you to actually get in trouble for copyright. But if you're selling your own designs, or people can come to you and be like, hey, I'm from the golf club, can I do this logo? Those are the kind of things you can make money from. And again, because you can use that EMB file type again in Hatch, you can then export it to any number of all the machine types that you need to give it to them, for them to stitch out, because they might just need a digitizer. So now, instead of you having to do all of the work in producing a whole run, you can sell that design to someone else. They can then worry about the production side. So that level of digitizing takes a little bit of time to work up to. But if we go right back to the beginning, and what you have done is you have taken the money that you would have spent on a bigger machine, and you've bought a solid, sturdy, really good machine that only has a little hoop, and then you've invested in yourself. Here's all these ways you could make money from your home business, but then you can also grow as a digitizer as well. And honestly, I reckon by the time you've reached this kind of point, you're going to buy a bigger machine anyway. So invest in yourself, grab Hatch, use it as a way to actually earn money and teach yourself all of the skills that you need, because I just know you're going to fall in love with embroidery because it is so wonderful, and you're just going to want to keep growing and doing more. So lots of different ways you can do that. So some of the ways that you can also learn how to do all of these things that I have just thrown at you in a big list is, as I mentioned, the Hatch Academy. The Hatch Academy is available on through Hatch. So when you actually have the program, you can log in using the same login details into the Academy, but you can also use those same login details to get to the Academy on the Google Play Store or on the App Store. I always say this every week, but I love having it in a mobile device because it is mobile. I can be reading it on the bus. I can be reading it while I'm waiting for a plane. It is the greatest way for me to continue learning and planning out my ideas and seeing what's possible. When you're starting out, having that ready access at your fingertips is really, really fantastic. So that would be one place. The other way you can do it is also the user guide. The user guide is fantastic for anyone who loves a tactile book and loves to write notes and post-it notes and stick it all in. These ones are available from your local Amazon. So you can go to any of the Amazons in your local country and you will be able to order this. If you look and you're like, wow, that postage is huge, make sure you're in your local Amazon. So that one's available through Amazon and they will send that one on out for you. So lots of different things that you can do here, which are ideas you can use for Hatch, just as fun or as ways that you can grow and start your home business and start your journey as a digitizer. So there's lots of different things in there. And I want to remind everyone that while Stitch Fest is on, you're going to have access to all of those great sales. Take advantage of it. If you want to have a little bit of a taster before you commit, you can also get the 30-day free trial for Hatch. Get that, don't overrun your trial too much while the Stitch Fest is on, because I don't want you to miss out on the sale price. So you could get that one all set up, but I don't want you to miss out on the price. So do jump in for that as well. If the idea of being a digitizer is something that you find super exciting and you want to know more about, and maybe for some of you, you're like, I'm not really sure what a digitizer does. Our next event for Stitch Fest is going to be so great, and it's an awesome way for you to learn more about it. So what's going to happen is you've probably got, I'm just trying to do time conversions in my head, maybe half an hour, so you can, go grab a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, go for a wander and come on back. And the guy's going to drop a link in the channel for you now. What you'll find is we actually have coming up in the next half an hour an interview with Sal Lucchese. So Sal is a wonderful digitizer who works out of Phoenix, Arizona. If anyone is familiar with the Wilcom Embroidery Studio product, earlier this year it had a new release, and it was accompanied with these really beautiful stitched out animals for all of the different sections. And honestly, every time I see them, I just love them so much. They are so detailed. But Sal was the digitizer that did the animals. So one of our other team members, Maria, has done a really great interview with Sal that's coming up in half an hour. It's going to come up as a YouTube premiere. So if you're watching on our Facebook group, you are going to have to jump across to YouTube. You can ask questions in that chat as well. So be sure to check that one out. It is going to be available as a replay, but again, you won't be able to ask your questions. So if you've got questions to ask, it's certainly a great way to do it. And you've only got half an hour to wait. You can find out way more information from a wonderful digitizer like Sal. So that is fantastic. I think that is everything for today. Hopefully, if people have got more questions or I've missed any questions in the chat's been moving really fast, so I haven't always been able to catch all of the ones, but I think I've answered questions along the way. But if there's any extra questions, jump on in and let me know. I saw lots of ones with people saying where they are from, so that's always fantastic. All right, it looks like everyone's going to be okay. Like I said, if you ever have extra questions, come join our Facebook user group. The team is always about ready to answer questions inside the user group as well. So be sure to come join that Facebook group if you've got extra questions. And if not, I'll see you at the next live. Thanks again.